Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of talking in these animes from the early 2000s, and well, obviously there's all kinds of anime, lots of talking.
Yeah, especially Gundam.
Yeah, that definitely. Yeah, there's so much.
Yeah, how much Gundam have you seen?
Not lately because of for whatever reason I just haven't watched Gundam, but it's mostly been isekai stuff. But
Gotcha.
back in the day, lots of Gundam, yeah, for sure.
God, I just recently finished Universal Century. It's so good.
Alrighty, well, let's get going. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Smudcast number 509, Naruto, the Self-Made Hypocrite. Interesting title. Getting a bit negative on our man Naruto here. This video came out about 4 years ago, has almost 3 million views. Holy crap. That's pretty big. And it's got 105,000 upvotes, 21,000 downvotes. Interesting. And it is pretty long. We're looking at least 40 minutes, so 42 minutes and a bit. I doubt we're going to finish it all today. Might do it tomorrow. But this is Weeb Day, so all anime, all Naruto for hours and hours. See how well we do before we go crazy. I don't know what to expect because it's been a while since I watched Naruto, and I don't know what arguments are for or against him being a hypocrite. So we'll have to find out.
I'm trying to think of what their argument, because Naruto basically upheld all the promises he was going to have. I mean, like, the character held up all the promises that he wanted to do.
Right.
Even continuing into Boruto.
Yeah. I assume
like, he's been Naruto himself is just a giant goofball, and he matures as he gets older, but he keeps his promises. He doesn't just screw it, I'm gonna just go off and do something else.
Yeah, he doesn't forget where he came from.
Yeah. Like that's his major character point, is that he doesn't hate the village, even though they all treated him like garbage for the majority of his childhood.
He had every reason to turn on the village, but he just chose not to be a bigger person.
Right. He always wanted to be the leader of
the Hokage.
Yeah, and because of that, he sort of has to be higher than everyone else because he has to look after everyone. And that's his sort of mentality, that if I am the best there is, they'll respect me, they'll like me. And going through those stages, he has to learn to respect everyone and accept them as well.
Yeah.
And that was before he found out who his parents were.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Boruto, he straight out says that he views everybody in the village as his family.
And anyone who comes in moves to the village, not just people who have been there for a long time.
That's why he's Kawaki.
Anyone, and Karuki also reminds him heavily of himself too. That's also why he's like, yeah, no, you're my son now. You're mine now.
Yeah.
Yes, but he basically adopts Kawaki.
I'm trying to
much to the chagrin of Kawaki.
What does he say or promise that he fails to deliver on it? There has to be something like that.
One of the main arguments that I've seen like that, and sorry for cutting you off, but a lot of people think that his character is hypocritical because it's the kind of you can do anything if you want, if you work hard at it. But they say that he's handed everything to him because of the Nine-Tailed, which is kind of a bad thing if you watch the series, because it put a target on his back.
Right.
That's one of the reasons I've seen. I was like, that's not how that works, guys.
He doesn't really gain control over Kurama, the Nine-Tails, until relatively close to the end of the series. Like him and Kurama don't get along at all for 2/3 of the series.
Like
it's only when he basically makes.
Sorry.
It's only basically when he makes friends with Kurama that he actually gets even more powerful than he was, because he actually can control all that.
It literally took a war to bring those two together.
Yeah, in the midst of the war, Kurama goes, "Fine, I really don't want to die. we can be friends. And Naruto's like, all right, and then they're friends. Like, that's basically what happens.
Yeah, they even bro fist and everything.
And Kurama's a really fun character too, because he's just like, fuck, screw it, I don't care. We're gonna do this.
Yeah, I love Kurama.
All right, well, let's get started. I want to hear what this guy has to say. I remember bits and pieces of Naruto. I remember a lot of the fights that were fun. Giant summons that come by and stomp the ever-living crap out of the environment, and just the fun.
What's real fun about Naruto? It ends like a if I describe the end of Naruto, it sounds like an Alex Jones rant.
It does. It really does.
But it's like that's half the fun of the show, especially towards the end, where they just went full on insane superpowered ninjas. Like ninjas are just basically superheroes at this point, and it's amazing. It's just fun.
It's so good.
It's so stupid, but in the fun kind of way, where it's just shown in where Japan just kind of goes, we don't care. This is fun to animate. We're going to have fun with this. Yeah. And you just go, all right, I'm strapped in. Here we go.
Alrighty. Okay, let's get going.
So let's talk about it. Specifically about how hypocritical the series is. Anyone that's seen the show or is vaguely aware of it probably already knows what I'm talking about, but complaining is fun. That's why I'm such a fun guy. So let's do that. I'm not covering the whole series here. I'm not covering Bort either, this thing, whatever this fucking creature is. I feel like whipping it with a garden hose when I see it, and I'm not sure why, so we'll just pretend that it doesn't exist. Except this kid. Holy shit, this is the cutest child to have ever existed.
Also, what's hilarious about Hinawama right there? Kurama is terrified of her.
Yeah, he like Naruto and Kurama both get punched like right in the gut. And Kurama feels it.
And from that day, there's a whole little short when it's like Boruto and Hirama are late to Naruto's Hokage ceremony, and her bear gets torn in half by Boruto
because they're fighting over it.
And she gets upset and basically just goes super angry mode and.
She gets in the middle.
Yeah, Naruto gets in the middle of them to figure out what's going on, and he gets punched straight in the stomach, and Kurama feels it. And what's funny is Kurama never explains why he's terrified of her to Boruto or to Naruto. Naruto's just like, okay, then whatever.
All right,
because he doesn't remember what happened.
Can't pronounce his name though. This video isn't about cute girls of any suspect age. It's about the hypocrisy of having a series about hard work overcoming natural gifts while also eponymously starting the most privileged child to have ever existed. That's right, Mr. Ruto himself. So our hero Nar opens the series by saying, "You can't do the things I can do. I'm better than you." He may as well have said, "I'm the Christ of your life, you nameless bitch.
Wow.
Suck my cock because I'm your god. Deep tongue fuck my asshole."
What is this?
Okay, so... Okay, yes, Naruto acts like a hotshot. He's also the worst in the class.
Yep.
Like, 2 minutes after this scene, literally, they're having to do a test on creating a clone, and he's the only one that fails.
Yep.
The only reason he gets the shadow clones usually is because then he works his ass off. Because he stole a lie.
And he stole the sacred scroll. Yeah, the only reason he can do the Shadow Clone Jutsu with such proficiency is because of his massive amounts of chakra he has.
And because he also worked
his ass off.
He honestly worked hard.
Yeah, he literally worked like his ass to the bone.
Yeah, so right now he's just being the class clown to get attention so people will like him. And
he's an orphan.
Yeah, so he's showing off as...
Yeah, and when the fourth Hokage died, the third made a declaration to the entire village that they're not going to treat Naruto special because he's the fourth son. They don't even tell him that he's the fourth son until Naruto finds out much later in his life. Well,
yeah, because
actually, like 3 years after this point, but still, like, they don't treat him special.
Like when he was a teenager, and the reason why that is because again, if everybody knew who his dad was, that would make him a target.
Oh yeah, especially with what's inside him.
Yeah,
it'd be like Gaara, which is the whole point of Gaara and Naruto being introduced and being friends with each other, is that Garo is what Naruto could be.
Yep.
All right.
I'm Naruto, Christ King of the Moon. You may as well have said that, because it's not wrong. You see, the lesson Naruto tries to preach is that even if you aren't born with amazing gifts, hard work and ingenuity overcomes these things. This series is going to help me prove the opposite is true, because it does that Japanese nonsense of recycling characters and events because Asia thinks that history repeating itself is incredibly literal for some reason. However, I'll be the first to say that if your story has a main character, the friends and foes alike should be a reflection of your main character's ideology in some way. Take a look at Batman. Two-Face is a mirror of the dichotomy of choice that Batman deals with every day. Scarecrow is a mirror of the utilization of fear that Batman also uses. Hugo Strange is a mirror of obsession and personal ascendancy. Hush is a mirror of the path Bruce took from childhood to vigilante, and so on. That's how you write stories.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, he's not totally wrong. That's a weird way of describing.
I mean, Naruto does have that, but it's not his immediate circle of friends. It's the people around. It's the people in the other villages.
Yeah.
Again, Gaara. Gaara is literally Naruto's mirror.
Yeah, he literally Naruto literally has to come to terms with the fact that Gaara he has to basically beat the sense into Gaara, and then Gaara's like, okay, I'll chill out, and then Naruto inspires Gaara to become the Kazekage of the Hidden Sand.
Right, it's the same with Sasuke. He is constantly seeing him as his rival, and Sasuke's got all the talent and all the skill. And
Sasuke is the person who he should be like. Sasuke literally is he's the number one student in the entire village.
Yeah,
but then also Sasuke is his mirror,
right?
To the extent they both have really crappy backgrounds.
Right. There's nothing wrong with using that technique. I was just concerned about the idea of the Batman gigantic list of rogues gallery being all mirrors of or slivers of Batman. It's like kind of, sort of, not really. They're all dark. They're all mysterious. They're all weird and goofy and have tragic stories anyway. Like, is Batman like Mr. Freeze? I guess, kind of, sort of.
I mean, you generally have... I mean, they both have lost a lot of influence if you want to narrow it down to how his logic is going. But, I mean, you have to have some reason for the hero to go against the villain. Yeah. So, yeah, you're gonna have them be, ideologically against each other in some aspect.
Sure, but you could just stretch this out as far as you go. Like, Catwoman is just like Batman. You're like, sure.
In a roundabout kind of way.
Yes, I don't like his explanation or the examples he's providing, but the idea of having a mirror or a dark mirror or a sliver of the protagonist and then just turning the lens a bit, like, that's normal in all your writing. It's not just characters. It's like setting and theme and plotting and all that good stuff. So he's not wrong. I'm just like, that's a weird explanation, and I don't think it's accurate with Batman. So anyway.
Yeah.
Here is The Bite of 87. I don't know what you're referring to.
It's a FNAF reference.
Oh.
Yeah. I wouldn't know either, Smud.
Alrighty.
I only know because FNAF is everywhere. I never really bother playing the game, so.
Yeah, me either.
Naruto villains can go one of two ways. One, Naruto says, hey, you're kind of shitty. Stop being that way, and they can agree. Or they don't, and he rings up the Nine Tails. Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a very
oversimplification.
It's a very simplified way of how it goes, but usually Naruto's enemies become his friends.
Yeah, that's the talk no jutsu I mentioned earlier. And even Kakashi and I think Iruka at one point, they mentioned that Naruto in his he has this unique presence that makes you want to reach out and befriend him because of his experiences and what he's gone through.
Yeah, like he's just a person that wants to be friends with everybody and has a knack for becoming friends with people.
Yeah, it's literally part of his character.
I mean, that's the case of where, people like that in real life, that they're just like, for some bizarre reason, they're just ridiculously good at making friends with people.
All right.
You orient along a line of thought and explore the natural variations and outcomes of each interpretation of that line of thought. Naruto actually does this pretty well. Most of the characters, even if they are reincarnations or overly literal rehashes, are reflections of Naruto himself. This is good. What's bad is that Naruto is wrong. Here's why. I'll bring up some things from up until the end of the series, but let's focus mainly on the Neji fight, since that's when this presumed lesson on nepotism and Randian hubris culminates before the author probably began to realize how...
Randian... what? Ayn Rand hubris?
I think that's what he meant to say, yeah.
Yeah. And with the whole Neji fight, the whole point is that Neji is basically Neji and Hinata are cousins.
Yep.
Hinata is a part of the main family. Neji is a offshoot of the main branch of the family. Neji's entire branch of the family are vassals to the main branch of the family. Neji has to basically obey everything that main branch has to do. It tells them to do, or else they die. Yeah, that's just how it works.
They either die or they get shunned and they commit toaster bath basically.
I'm just
they lose their special abilities, everything. Like they can't go against the main branch of the family. He is stronger than
Hinata.
Than Hinata.
Well, yes.
He just is.
I just want to know what he means.
And he's trying to prove that.
By Randian hubris. And I know some of the backstory in personal life of Ayn Rand and the fiasco that surrounded her life when she was writing books and whatever. But hubris...
Well, also he's nepotism too.
Well, the thing with Neji is before Naruto humbled him, he was like hardcore belief that you cannot change your destiny, and destiny is like it's written in stone. And so Naruto basically, shatters his worldview essentially by beating him, because Neji believed he was destined to beat Naruto in the Chunin exams essentially. So if that might clear up a little bit of that. I don't know. I haven't read much Ayn Rand. Sorry.
Well, she has a lot of weird books. There's two that are very similar, but it's all about the failures of socialism or the horrors of socialism, or communism to that extent. So I don't know if that's relatable, or is he talking about the hubris of an objectivist, someone who studies or believes in objectivism? I don't know. I really don't know what he's getting at, because I've never heard that term before. Anyway.
Neither have I.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Text buzz. Let's establish our players. Neji and Naruto are mirrors in this instance. First, Naruto.
Are they really? He's this gifted, super talented, and amazing user of the, what is it called? The evil eye?
Byakugan.
Yeah, the Byakugan. And Naruto is just a guy.
With a
he has no control. And at this point, the fox has showed up twice.
Yeah.
Once in the Haku fight, and once dealing with Orochimaru in the Forest of Death.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the only time he's shown up. Naruto has no idea what is going on when that happens. As far as he's aware, he was knocked out and woke up like, oh, everything's fine now. What happened?
Right.
And no one's really told him what's going on.
And everyone acknowledges Neji as probably the greatest fighter out of the whole tournament. He's just really.
It's between him and Sasuke. Him and Sasuke are the two, number two, one and very close, 1 and 2.
Right.
When it comes to, I think Neji is technically number 2. Sasuke is number 1. Lee is
up there too, actually.
Lee would be number 3. Those at this point in time, those 3 are the 3 strongest in the. Technically, Shikamaru is up there too, but Shikamaru just doesn't care. Well, he counts. He's just, I don't care. He just doesn't care.
But yeah, so Smud, basically the difference between Neji and Naruto in this fight is that Neji has full control of his ability to the Byakugan. He can activate that whenever he wants. Naruto just cannot do a damn thing about Kurama. Kurama just does what he wants, and that's kind of what hinders not hinders, but that's what usually like that's why he kind of just slips out every so often, and it's crucial, is because Kurama just literally wants to intervene and not die.
Yeah, so
or it's more so when Naruto gets pissed, like ridiculously pissed, not just angry at someone for something silly. Like the first time Kurama slipped out is when he thought Sasuke died.
Yeah, and he literally looked at Haku dead in the eye and just said, "I'm gonna kill you." By the way, the voice acting in that scene is so good.
Even in the English version, it wasn't terrible either.
I love the English dub. Fight me, nerds.
Well, I don't know what he's talking about. They're mirrors of each other. It's like, dude, where are you getting this?
I think he's like, wow, I'm so insightful by using the word mirror for everything. Like, I don't think you understand what that word means, buddy, or you're not using it properly.
It's sounding very pretentious as well. About to say, actually.
Okay. Here is Porcelinus the Fourth. Thank you, sir. Guys, they are standing across from each other. That means they are mirror images. It would be more accurate to say that they're two sides of the same coin. Both are driven, but by different reasons. Pride versus shame. There's plenty of motivation on both sides for different reasons. Yeah, I don't know if they're ideologically contrasts or opposites. I don't think so.
I would say that they are very different in ideologically, because, like I said earlier, Neji is like, he believes like in pure destiny,
right.
And Naruto believes you can do it, like you make your own destiny, essentially.
Right, but that's like kind of their motif in general, not necessarily opposites. They're just like, I'm going to try hard, whereas Neji also tries hard. He doesn't like just coast through life. Obviously, he has his own burdens to bear.
He's been through a lot, too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like, oh, I'm amazing and you are scum. No, it's like, I'm amazing and there's no one else like me. Therefore, that's just the way it is. And you are a nobody. Well, he doesn't know anything about Naruto at this point anyway. No one does.
Yeah.
Well, they were in the same class for a short...
Oh, there's a lot of different Narutos in the series. Jiraiya is a Naruto, Obito is a Naruto, Hashirama is a Naruto, Tsunade's ugly little brother is a Naruto.
Okay,
no,
so having...
He's conflating having like similar backstories and development with being
personality traits.
Yeah, personality traits. Thank you, because Jiraiya, he literally teaches Naruto because he sees a lot of himself in him, and he's also his godfather. He just doesn't know. He just doesn't tell Naruto because again, it's been ordered to be kept secret. But like the difference between Naruto and Jiraiya is like there's so much wrong with that statement, dude.
Like they're both eccentric weirdos. Yes, that doesn't make them both Naruto.
Yeah, like there's objectively differences between the two characters, dude.
Yeah, this is the same.
Same with Obito. He's
Obito actually becomes like a Gaara kind of situation for Naruto, except on a much grander scale, because Obito goes through like pure hell, and he manages to get a redemption, which I love. That's why I love Obito as a character, by the way.
Yes, after a really good fight with Kakashi too. Like,
dude, that fight was oh my god, that fight was one of the best in the show.
Like, Smud, if you can just look up Kakashi versus Obito. You don't have to have any context to the fight. Just watch the fight in general. It is a good fight in of itself.
Right. Like, it shows like little like flashbacks to when Obito and Kakashi were kids and stuff. The animators knocked that one out of the park.
Yeah.
So the idea that he can go back to like Batman and say, well, the Mr. Freeze is a mirror of Batman, and so is Two-Face, and you're like, okay. Kinda, not really.
I think he's using mirror in the sense of like there are two sides of the same coin, but he doesn't realize that's what he's doing.
I don't know.
He's using the wrong word is the problem.
Yeah, that's why I think he's trying to use two sides of the same coin, but he's saying mirror, so he's using it incorrectly.
I think Tsunade sees Naruto like her brother, I think, or whoever that kid is.
Her little brother.
That's her younger brother, and that was her lover before he died.
Other people see what they see in Naruto in other people. That's maybe why they connect with him, but that doesn't make Naruto a mirror or a facade of the other, or vice versa. It's just they have certain traits. It's like, yes, they're childlike and gung ho and positive. And yeah, they mope around a lot. Yeah, they're emotional. That's true. But that's humanity. I don't see how that's specific or unique to Naruto.
Like Naruto's like a hard-headed little dummy, and I love him for it.
Yeah, he's just a kid trying to get popular, and he trains and he gets better. He has to try. That's
like his nickname is the #1 hyperactive knucklehead ninja for a reason.
The knucklehead. Okay.
Yeah, the #1 hyperactive knucklehead ninja. That's his nickname.
Was that from the dub or the sub?
That's from the manga.
Oh,
yes,
the
manga.
The writer created that. That is a creation of the writer.
I'm trying to remember what Kakashi said about like he's the most unpredictable or something like that.
Yes, because he's like, whenever Naruto gets involved, I can't even tell you what's going to happen. Like,
right, yeah.
Especially after he sees Naruto and Sasuke pull off that trick to get him freed from Zabuza.
Yeah,
where Zabuza has him trapped.
Where Naruto transformed into the Shuriken and Sasuke threw it directly under another Shuriken so he didn't see it.
Yeah, he was very Kakashi. Like, those two work hard for everything they do. I can't think of one time Naruto just kind of drifted through what a hard situation.
And no, he struggles through
which
like, every
in turn though
struggles.
Which in turn also has the power creep issue where because Naruto keeps getting stronger, the writer had to keep creating stronger and stronger enemies to fight.
Yeah.
So the end of the series is literally just gods fighting each other, like Kaguya, no understatement.
Like Kaguya, like damn near tactical nuking a pocket dimension.
Yeah, it gets insane. It's once again, if we were to correctly describe what happens in the last, just in the last half of the final arc for Naruto, it sounds like an Alex Jones rant.
It's like a giant kaiju fight, and I love it.
All right, let's go.
Naruto, brother is a Naruto. Naruto is a Naruto. Too many Narutos. But my favorite Naruto is this guy. I say this guy because no one knows what his name is, because he's
Iruka
so
Umino.
unimportant. I know who it is. Yep. So this guy makes a big deal about caring about Naruto when everyone else hates him, because they're so similar. His parents died when this big dog that lives in Narazanis ate their house and, took his parents by the legs and chewed.
Wow, so this guy just hates the series in general because that's a really... that's not even, comical, describing. That's just
gross.
That's just bad.
Basically, I'll tell you about Iruka. Iruka is the teacher in the school, in the academy for Shinobi, right? So, and he sees a lot of stuff in Naruto.
It's like they're
because Naruto didn't have any parents. Like Iruka, he lost his parents in the attack with Kurama, and he basically he sees so much of himself in Naruto that he wants to help him whenever he can, and Iruka takes a freaking demon, like a giant shuriken to the back to protect Naruto, because he wants him to succeed, and he wants to protect him because he sees so much of himself in him. He sees him like a little brother almost, or a son. So
because literally, when Iruka's parents died, he was about the same age as Naruto.
Yep.
Iruka's parents died the night Naruto was born, because that's also when they sealed Kurama inside him. Once that happened, Iruka became the class clown to get everyone's attention, just like Naruto. So the whole point of this is that we're showing this is because then also the guy that's trying to kill Naruto hates him for Naruto for the demon fox inside him. Iruka doesn't. This whole episode, the first episode, is not a mirror on Naruto. It's a mirror on Iruka and the other teacher. Or it's more about those two than it is Naruto.
All right, here is the Giga Chad.
In all honesty.
This N-word heard a bunch of jokes about the series made by fans of the show, but actually thought they were legit gripes and believed them. Now, enough about my racist past. Let's discuss my racist future. Okay, well.
Yeah,
that's a great way to describe this video in a
nutshell. Yeah, it sounds like he's just taking all the memes that the fans of the show have pointed out, like, oh, Naruto's
the ramen guy
Jesus.
Joke, yeah, next
like, oh, Naruto's Jesus because he gets extremely powerful, or like he's the son of two very important characters. Like, that's like most shows. That doesn't make him Jesus. And if you're taking that seriously,
like I'm calling it right now, he's gonna make a ramen guy joke at some point. Because it's been a while since I've seen this video. I've watched it before and I forget what he says, a lot of it. But I'm calling it, he's making a ramen guy joke.
Okay, well, he's making these weird statements like, this guy's Naruto, that guy's... It's like, there are moments in the story.
You mean in the world where it's literally... There was wars up until just recently. Where they've had the longest stint of peace in this world at this point in time. You're going to tell me that lots of people have really terrible histories because of all the wars that were going on? Say it isn't so.
All right.
Like, I think they've had like a peace time of 50 years at this point. Or no, like 30 years?
Yeah, it's been like 50, probably 50 or 60. I say
no, because
30 or
Dry looked to be in his Dry looked to be in his 20s when the last Great War was going on, when he met Obito and Pain and all them. So it has to be at least 30.
Yeah, fair.
So yeah, it's like it's been a time of relative peace for 30 years since the last war happened. So a lot of people are going to have really terrible backgrounds because of constant warring, and that's just in the land they currently live in. Other lands around them are still having war problems.
Like the land of rain, or the village hidden in the rain, is even worse than the Leaf was when it comes to the fallout of the wars.
All right.
And that's where Pain's from, so just in case you didn't know.
Let's continue.
Mountain. Hey, it's rough, buddy. So he grew up without parents, and he also was stupid and had no talent. So to get attention, he acted like an idiot. And as everyone knows, pretending to be an idiot is a sign that you're actually an idiot and don't know it. He's like, hey Naruto, you also are an idiot, and your parents are skeletons, so I'll teach you how to fail. And so he did. Flash forward for a second. At the end of the series, Naruto is basically...
Except he didn't, though. He didn't teach him how to fail. He taught him how to succeed. Like, this dude hasn't read the series or watched it.
Or, like watched it once and then...
Or at worst, watched some kind of a bridge series.
Like, here's the thing. He's also showing proper scenes from the show, so he knows... Like, especially when he's talking about Iruka.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and all those times, if you don't show the audio, because you can't, because YouTube, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, Shueisha will copyright strike it.
Yeah, Iruka is telling Naruto, I was acting like an idiot to get attention. Like, he was directly stating this was all, he knows why Naruto acts up, and why he doesn't really punish him, really.
Like that first episode gets a lot of info out in such a short amount of time and does it very well. Yeah, like the worst punishment Naruto has to do is clean up the paint on the Hokage faces. That's it. If anyone else did that, they'd be in jail. Yeah. Just because that's the equivalent of, walking onto Mount Rushmore and painting all the faces. You'd be in jail for that. Yeah. So yeah, it's just a case of like, it's not that Naruto gets away with stuff because he's got Kurama inside him. Well, he kind of does, but it's people understand more of why he's doing it, and so they're just kind of like, okay, we're not gonna like beat you. Yeah, we're not gonna beat you like a rented mule, because that's not gonna end well for us. They know better than that. Yeah, like someone get tail beast bombed. Well, yeah, and also they don't want to kill Naruto, because if they kill him, Kurama dies. Yeah. And basically, tailed beasts are like nuclear arms in this world. Super weapons. Yeah, everyone has weapons. All the major superpowers have them. Yeah, the village in the clouds has the 8 tails. The sand has the 1 tail. Like so on and so forth. Each village has one Jinchuriki, which is a person that has a tailed beast in them.
Yeah, there's a reason why they don't just, and there's also a reason why they just don't lock Naruto in a dungeon for his whole life, because they don't.
Because he'll break free.
Yeah.
He'll basically be like, "Hey, Kurama, you can just have my body," and then just take over his body and just go ham.
And also, the third Hokage is also, he's not an idiot. He's seen what happens with all this, so he's far more lenient with Naruto too.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's keep going.
At fault the matriarchal creator of the entire species. She's a tree from the moon or something. I don't care. What's this guy doing? Just jerking it. No wife, no advancements in his career, just busting nuts against the wall until he dies alone at minimum wage.
Man, that's a great scene to show when Iruka is literally saying, "I was so depressed because my parents died."
Yeah, let's make a funny joke about that. You dick.
Yeah.
Because while he's like Naruto in that he's untalented, stupid, and has coffins for parents, Naruto has a lot of shit going for him that this guy will never have. This guy is Naruto if Naruto wasn't a hypocrite. Even amongst a sea of Naruto variants, Nar himself is really privileged, like super privileged. The series makes a big deal out of how many gifts were bestowed upon him the longer it goes on. The first of these is Clifford the Big.
No, this guy literally thinks that Kurama is like a gift wrapped thing. No, this demon fox made his life a living hell.
Like, Kurama isn't just like a robot that Naruto can
just summon forth. Like he's not like a stand.
He's sentient. He's not just an animal. He's sentient. He has his own thoughts and ideas. Like, he can speak. He's not just some dumb animal.
He's very wise. Like he has hundreds, if not thousands, of years of life on this planet. He's seen almost everything there is to see, and he's a very smart character. One of the smartest, probably in the series, actually. And
he's technically the eldest of the tailed beasts.
Yeah, the oldest tailed beast. But the thing about that is this dude thinks that this he clearly just does not. He hasn't seen the series. Like I refuse to believe otherwise. Like this doesn't give him like this. I'm getting frustrated. Sorry, but this dude, like, Kurama was not a blessing. He was an absolute curse for Naruto growing up.
Yes, because the villagers weren't allowed to say anything to him, but they still shunned him and treated him like crap because Kurama was in him.
Like one dude was like, Naruto was trying to buy a mask at a mask store from him, and dude just yeeted it at him at his face and told him to get out. Naruto got the shit into the stick because of Kurama, and
because no one told him, Naruto didn't understand why everyone just hated him.
Yeah, he was just like, what the hell? Why do people hate me?
Yeah, I think he might be referring to later in the series because he has command over himself a bit more. He now has greater strength than others, but you still have to admit, in the start, he had a horrible childhood. He had not too many friends.
Yeah,
everyone hated him. So there's there's both sides. There's a good side later on in life, but getting there was horrible. So
Naruto. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
So I don't see how this is a boon or just a boon.
Like the thing
only
with
a boon
Naruto is
because Naruto himself made it a boon.
Yeah, he learned how to control it. But like I see Naruto as like a hardcore, like giant rags to riches kind of story, where he worked for literally all of the things he has. If that makes sense.
Really, the only one he didn't really work for is
Six Paths Road.
Well,
no, Hinata.
I wish that
because it just kind of like the final movie's like, oh, they love each other now.
I love that movie.
Okay, then I mean, it's still just one of those like, crap. We need a reason for them to be together. Well, okay, they love each other.
I just wish that he wasn't so condescending and childish describing this. If he was just like, I think he's privileged because of this, you're like, okay, let's see what else is there. No, he's a horrible, lazy person and a hypocrite. It's like, dude, no, stop. Just stop right there. Stop with the name calling. Focus on the facts. That's all you got to do.
Like, bruh, like I wouldn't have such an issue with him if he wasn't such a dick about it.
Yeah.
Like if he was doing it to be funny,
yeah,
that's it. Like kind of like how Maxor does this stuff, where he'll say something really sarcastically, but it's true, or like really dumb, but he'll say it in a really funny way. So it doesn't sound sounding horrible. You know what I mean? Like in all his Metal Gear Rising Revengeance or Bloodborne or any of those reviews of his, like they can come off condescending at times, but they're still funny. So it's not nearly as like awful. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like I have an IRL friend. He does not like Naruto. He downright just doesn't like it. And we have chats about like different aspects of the series that he doesn't like, and we have it. And he's not in the giant anus about it. Like we're civil about it. This guy's being a douche.
All right, here's the Giga Chat one more time. Naruto is privileged, guys. Everybody hates him. Very privileged. You know, Sasuke is also privileged. His entire family is dead. Then he had to watch them get murdered over and over again. The original poster sounds like a tad bit of a faggot, to be honest. No offense. Okay, well,
this is like last week with the guy saying that Legoshi is privileged when he's literally the opposite of that.
I need to watch Beastars. I haven't watched that yet.
All right. Anyway, let's try and get through this. Hopefully he'll get a little more mature as we continue.
Red dog that lives in a pet cage in Naruto's spinal cord or something. Also, there's just piss everywhere. Since it's a Japanese anime, all the characters have something called chakra, which it treats like physical stamina.
Considering chakra is a real belief system within the universe, not just anime. Like in real world,
it's a real thing.
Chakra is a belief system.
It's not a real thing, but it's like a belief.
That's right. Well, belief system, not saying it's real.
Yeah, y'all know what I mean. But
and also, tons of different.
It's in Hinduism.
Yeah, like Avatar: The Last Airbender uses chakra as well. It's not just It's not just Japanese anime. Lots of different things use chakra as an idea because it helps simplify things down to for people to understand spiritually wise. And I guarantee you he's going to say, oh, he's got a lot of chakra. That means he's gifted.
Yeah, probably. But
when that's not true, because also Naruto can't control any of it, which is explicitly stated. Both him and Sasuke have problems with that until they practice and learn how to not just how Kakashi
chakra in there.
Yeah, how Kakashi described it is basically he would just turn the hose on full blast whenever he needed to use chakra, and then just hopefully he would just guess if he did it right when he was trying something.
Yeah, there's a lot of
as opposed to turning it on at a consistent rate to be able to control it without it just flying everywhere. Is how it's described in the show.
There's a lot of Hindu like religious influences into some of the themes and parts of Naruto. Like for example, Pain's purple eye, the Rinnegan, literally translates to Samsara eye, and Samsara is a Hindu philosophy.
Yeah, like it's just like anime does a lot of times. It pulls from everywhere.
Different religions all over the world and stuff.
Alrighty.
But as sure as this totally isn't physical stamina. No, it's magic points that let you do magic tricks. Like the ninjas did.
Except it directly is stated as a physical, stamina system. Like, if you expend too much chakra, you can't move.
Also, he's doing what I like to call an argument from realism. I know that's not an actual fallacy name, but I'm making it one because screw it. But yeah, he's trying to basically ninjas were totally like this as a sarcastic remark. Dude, it's freaking anime. Like, if you're gonna shut up, nerd. Just shut up. I'm so tired of that crap. It's anime. Pirates weren't stretching a million miles long and punching people in the face and turning themselves into fireballs, dude. I get so tired of this argument.
I honestly think he's just trying to be funny, and it's not very conductive of an argument. You're just making light of yourself.
It's like the tone of his voice also isn't helping when he's trying to be funny.
Yeah, he's derogatory. It's like, dude, if you want to prove something is bad, you just show it. You say, look at how bad this is, and it does this, and he said this, and this is what happens. That's stupid. It's so easy to do that when you have a bad show. Naruto was not a bad show. There were episodes which were bad, but there weren't, as a whole, it was bad. People loved it. It was very dramatic.
Generally it was only bad when it got into filler, and that's only because...
Like what I say to people that want to get into the franchise, if you want to experience it just for the story, play the Storm games. If you don't want to read manga, play the Storm games. Storm games do it excellently.
It cuts out all the filler crap.
Yeah, or if you just don't want to read a book or you want to read the manga, which I recommend highly, then just play the Storm games. Storm games are so good. They're dirt cheap right now too, by the way. So y'all got like every opportunity to experience this amazing story.
Like in all honesty, Boruto really isn't that bad. It's just the fact that they front loaded the entire series with like 300 episodes of filler.
Dude, read the manga for Boruto if you're gonna experience Boruto, guys. Read the manga. The manga is so good.
Yes, the act like Boruto himself is what he's claiming. Like Boruto at the beginning of that series is what he's claiming Naruto is, because Boruto literally had everything handed to him because he's the son of the Hokage. He's the son of Naruto. And he's also extremely talented because, one, he's the son of Naruto.
He gets trained by Naruto himself.
And he acts like a little shit because of it.
And then he gets humbled, which is kind of part of like the whole point of his character arc is him getting humbled because he's like a little brat. Because he is a little brat. He's like 12, and he grew up basically as the ninja governor's son. It's
He's the rich kid that you want to slap because he acts mightier than you when he's not.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
Which is really funny. Which is funny because in the world of Naruto, you probably could slap him and no one would care.
Yeah.
Like even Naruto would be like, "Yeah, that was deserved." Like Naruto loves Boruto, but he would just be like, "Yeah, you deserve that one."
Yeah, he literally disqualified Boruto and took away his headband because he cheated in an exam and did it in front of everybody to basically humble him in the movie and in the anime. Like he did that just so he learned a lesson. Because Naruto's is like people say he's a bad dad. No, he is a very strict dad, but a good dad.
Like they point out that he's a bad dad because he uses the clones to interact with his family.
Yeah, once, and then it just doesn't happen again after that.
Well, yes, because Naruto's like, oh, I fucked up there. Like I shouldn't have done. That was the one time I shouldn't have done that. Because no, he's done it before. Because the family knows that he does it, and then he did it the one time for Himawano's birthday, and then he realized, oh, I fucked up on that one. He's like, oh.
His shadow clone, he runs out of chakra, and his shadow clone literally poofs and drops Himawari's cake, and that's why Boruto gets pissed at him.
Wait, it's the case of like he's so busy trying to protect the village, and he also really obviously wants to spend time with his family, and his family understands that he needs to take care of the village, but it's just the case of Boruto's also again a bit of a brat, but he was understandably pissed at that one. That was one moment where he was just understandably ticked off.
Yeah, that was justified. He made his little sister sad. Like that's justified for him being pissed off about it.
All right, let's continue.
No, not those ninjas. Those are dirty farmers that engage in terrorism against the establishment in the 12th to 17th century. Yeah, real ninjas with magic wands and construction worker outfits. Real ninjas. So Clifford has a lot of magic, and when Nar runs out of magic from doing stupid shit, which he usually does, Clifford will give him more. How much more? Kind of just however much the plot needs. So, you know that Pokemon thing where the animal wins a match, and then everyone is like, wow, that trainer sure is strong, even though he didn't do anything? The show does that with Naruto.
Again, like, this argument has been made so much, and I just, like, he has no control over Kurama. Kurama literally just gives him chakra to screw with him, essentially, like a lot of the time. Like he'll literally just give him chakra to fuck with him at some points. But the reason why he did it then is because Orochimaru is pissing off both Naruto and Kurama. Like he was pissing them both off, and he went like Kurama gave him like a little too much in that fight, and that's why he almost took over Naruto's body in that fight. if Yamato wasn't there to stop him, he would have taken over his body. But yeah, but no, it's just like it's totally the fact that it's just plot convenience, dude.
Yeah, no, okay, so I hate this point where people like this will go, oh, it's just convenient to the plot. It's like, okay, yes, everything that happens in a plot is convenient to the plot.
Yeah.
How you get there, though, is what's more important.
Well, the function... The function...
But yeah, I mean... yeah, go ahead.
We're talking about the idea he tries his normal way. He runs out of energy, and then his inner demon says, okay, I'm going to give you some because you're screwing up. That's not uncommon because Naruto is always trying hard, and he's always failing. And this is sort of like, okay, we got to give our protagonist a second wind or another opportunity so he can learn and change and grow. That's fine. I get that. That's a plot thing that happens a lot in Naruto. That's totally fine. It depends on how it's done and whether it's like, okay, how much how much power does this guy really have? That's when it gets a little silly.
It would be like it would be bad if he actually had full control of Kurama, like from the start. But he just always told Kurama, don't do anything. Only step in if I lose. That would be a different story. But he doesn't do that. It's like Ray versus Naruto. Let's go with that. Ray just has all this power and just can use it immediately without question. Like, she never fails. Naruto fails 98% of the time up until the last, he fails more than he wins, which is a good thing, because then it shows him actually having to try to get to where he's at. He doesn't just he's not just handed wins. Like, I don't know where this...
No, absolutely not.
And even when he wins while using the fox at this point in time, he's still a massive danger to everyone around him, because it's just Kurama going ballistic.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, as before I've said, main characters usually have a high endurance for whatever conflict comes their way. And it's natural to have not necessarily the big tough guy, but the guy who can take a blow, can get back up, and deal with the conflict. If you just have guys, main characters, passing out all the time or losing all the time, there has to be some other story or some pick-me-up down the road where it's like, okay, what happened? What was that all about? Did you learn anything? Like, you can't just have scenes end. And that's why you have characters who are able to avoid death or falling asleep or whatever, to keep going. In Demon Slayer, the yellow-haired and outfit character. Zenitsu. His whole joke is that he's constantly terrified of dealing with his running gag is that he's completely terrified of dealing with demons. But the second he falls asleep, he's a badass warrior. And he just rips through everything while asleep.
Yeah. But there's a point in this fight where Naruto he's in her four tails mode, where he sprouts obviously four tails, and he cannot control himself. It's all Kurama in the driver's seat, basically.
Well, it's angry Kurama in the driver's seat, which is different than normal Kurama.
But the thing about that is, though, during the fight, Sakura is trying to calm him down, and he just slaps the absolute shit out of her, and he feels mortified when he snaps out of it, basically. Like, he's sickened with himself. And that's when and then I think it's Jiraiya that came to him and said, "You're relying on Kurama's chakra a little too much, so I'm going to teach you something else to try." And that's how he learned Sage Mode. That was the whole reason he learned Sage Mode, to not rely on Kurama. And even
with that one, he can't fully control it, so he gets around it by having clones do it for him, so he doesn't turn himself into a frog.
Yeah,
Naruto isn't stupid. He's very intelligent. He just acts like a moron.
Yeah.
No, just when it comes to intricacies, he's not stupid. He's just, oh, I thought it worked this way. It doesn't. Okay, I understand it now. I can adapt with that.
He's a really good strategist too.
Yeah, he's not the best, but he's on his feet. He can think very quickly.
Yeah, and then by the time the war rolls around, he can just get into Sage Mode like that, immediately almost, because he's just so good at it at that point.
Well, no, he still uses the clones.
Yeah, but
you just don't see him. You can assume when he goes into Sage Mode, he releases a clone that's sitting where it can gather the chakra he needs, and then he immediately just goes into chakra. I think when he's older in Boruto, he can do it without the clones, but
yeah, he literally just does it like in seconds in Boruto.
Yeah, in this time zone where you're seeing here, he needs because it's explained that it's explained later on, which is why when he was doing the shadow clone training at the start, why he learned it so quickly is because shadow clones are different from normal clones.
Like shadow clones have physical mass, whereas regular clone jutsu is just illusions.
Yeah, and so with a shadow clone, it can actually learn things and then relay that info to the original. So you can increase the amount of experience you learn with shadow clones, but there's a limit to that because you also get their how exhausted they are.
All right, let's get back on topic here.
So it's so he worked for things. It's not just here you go.
Okay.
With Naruto and his dog's magic powers, Naruto does something stupid, and then the dog bails him out, and all the people around Naruto are like, "Wow, Naruto is so good at becoming a ninja now. He's so strong because his number is so big."
Oh yeah, Sakura's sitting there going, "Wow, he's so strong."
No, she's terrified.
Yeah, I know, which is why
it's hard.
Let me give you one example. Okay, our heroic traffic cone is tricked into stealing some secret library book and learns the signature move to make shadow clones. Which, judging from the name, I guess are clones made from shadows, since water clones are made from water and mud.
No, but okay.
Made from mud, and cum clones or whatever. Naruto learns to do this and immediately makes like 100 clones, after reading the scroll for a few minutes. Now, we learn later that being able to make more than a couple of these things is...
And also, he just completely skipped over the fact that Naruto was sitting there for hours doing this.
Yeah, he was literally just sitting there for like literal hours reading this scroll and practicing. Like
when Iruka comes upon him, he's beat the crap up because he's been
practicing.
Beating the crap out of himself and trying to do this for literal hours.
But yeah,
it's not just he gets it, looks at it, goes, "Oh, that's how it works," and then so I do this, and then this happens. It's not that he's removing all. It's another one of those cases where they don't understand that there's a passage of time,
and the reason why
it's not just immediately following each other.
I think the reason why that Kishimoto drew it with like a bunch of clones is just for dramatic effect.
He very rarely has that many out at one time, not for a while anyway.
Like he did that one just because he wanted to show like Naruto's very he has like a huge potential to do this. Essentially, that's what I got from that scene anyway.
Well, no, so I think it's to contrast his initial attempt with the original clone.
Yeah, that's fair.
Where it was just this wonked out, it
was a
sad, pathetic looking thing. Yeah, it was sad, pathetic looking thing on the floor.
Well, yeah,
it was the hard contrast. Literally at the beginning of the episode to see where he is at the end, when he actually tried and worked hard at something.
That was brought up at the end of the fight with Neji. He says, the thing I sucked at the most was the cloning technique. And Neji's like, "Oh, wow, like you actually got really good at that." So he's proving to him that you can overcome whatever you think you are fated to do if you just try hard enough. So.
Yep.
Well, and Naruto is shown to be competent at jutsu because when they have to do the transformation jutsu bit and he does the section jutsu, he created that. That's his own personal thing that he created. Full body.
Because he's a pervert and I love him.
He's a 12-year-old boy. Of course he's going to do that. I don't fault him for going, "Oh, I can do this." Especially in a world of ninjas where you can transform your body. Okay, I can see a 12-year-old going, "Oh, I've got an idea," and then doing it.
All right.
It's supposed to be hard, since it uses up a ton of magic points. So how did Naruto make so many? Dog powers. The whole point of this is that the basic form of this trick, making a normal clone, and don't ask me what the normal ones are made of, I don't know, is something Naruto can't do at all. There's a distinction between somehow normal clones and shadow clones. Shadow clones are apparently some secret technique invented by the objectively best Hokage, since it was on a forbidden scroll, and is described as a technique only taught to high-level ninja. Although even kids recognize shadow clones when they see them, and other villagers also use and recognize shadow clones as being a mundane trick, and enemies from all over the ninja world also recognize and use shadow clones,
because this technique is hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
And also, again, the reason why it's banned or heavily restricted is because they actually relay information to the original owner.
You can use this for recon, big time.
Yes. Normal clones can't do that. It's just an illusion. They don't do anything.
Also,
they can't impact physical force on something. The shadow clones can.
If this guy actually watched the series, he would know how chakra molding works, transforming into techniques like fire style or water style. You have to do it through hand seals, which convert it into different nature types or different cloning. It's all explained. It's all explained if you just watch it, dude.
And it's also explained within the first 20 episodes. It's not explained
Sakura has a little chart and everything, dude.
Yeah, it's not like 10 years down the line when they finally explain to this. No, this is explained very early on because it's basic stuff you need to know to understand how this world works. Yeah. And Kishimoto actually, thought about that. He was like, oh, okay, I need to explain this eventually. And so he did it very early on.
Yeah, and Tobirama is not the best Hokage. Not even close. Especially at this point in Naruto, I would say the best Hokage was probably Hiruzen the third. But nah, Tobirama's ass. He's a giant dick bag.
Well, considering with what he was having to deal with at the time, not as much as you're saying, but because remember he was Hokage during a massive war going on.
Well, yeah, but
and the only times we see him is when he's dealing with the Uchiha clan.
Yeah,
we don't see him outside of that.
That's what I was trying to get at, what he did with the Uchiha clan.
Yes, but also he was old enough to know what was going on before the clans. He was told what happened, how the clans became what they were. So he also knows what's going on. But Madara's I don't care. I'm just gonna be an ass. Madara's more of an ass than he is. He's just having to respond.
Yeah. Well. Then again, Madara's whole character is just I'm gonna be honest. I love Madara, so I'm a little bit biased, but it's whatever.
No, it's fine. It's but Madara's whole thing is I'm going to be evil because I can.
Nah.
Sometimes he just. He has a reason for it, but
yeah.
But my point being is.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no. But my point being, sometimes you do need the villain just to be. I want to be evil. But he can still have a reason for being evil. But he still... You would think after, thousands of years, he'd stop. Or hundreds of years, he'd be like...
Yeah.
All right.
He'd be like, all right, I lost.
Well, that's good.
But no, he keeps going.
I guess. But point being, Naruto can only do it because he's cheating. He even gets told later that he's garbage at it, because compared to his teammates, he wastes twice as much chakra as he needs to. He's just dumping huge amounts of energy into the move until it works by force. Coincidentally, Naruto doesn't even know it.
Okay, I actually remember that. That's when Kakashi or whomever was explaining that Sakura has the best chakra control, and she doesn't waste
the tree climbing.
Yeah, she doesn't waste any, whereas Naruto and Sasuke, they actually drain themselves whenever they do something. So there's an efficiency problem. So it's not that he uses up a lot because he's dumb.
He literally just doesn't know what he's doing.
He's not very good at it. Yeah, he's just not as experienced or as...
He's ignorant. He's ignorant. He's not... Like I said, Naruto is not a stupid person. He's a very smart kid. He's just acts like an idiot. And just because he doesn't know something or doesn't have the fine-tuning to understand how something works, when he's explained it, he catches on very quickly. He's not a moron.
Right.
He learned the Rasengan, not an idiot. But he learned the Rasengan in less than a week. That's an impressive feat.
The little glowy ball that you see him holding at times.
That was one of the reasoning why Sakura was set up to be a medical ninja, because of her control of chakra, and she's good at manipulating it and not wasting it and healing people and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and also arguably Sakura's one of the strongest characters in Series 2. And it's hilarious, and it's amazing watching her fight when she does. She arguably brute forces harder than Naruto, especially towards the end of the series.
She's raw strength. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she literally punches a
She's
god in
one
the back
punch.
of the head. It's amazing.
She's Saitama. She just one punches everything, and it's hilarious.
Chocks early on. He's not only stupid, but he also never studies. The thing about Naruto is that he
never studies when he learned that shadow clone skill within a day or half a day, whatever it was.
Well, see, Naruto's the epitome of he hates school, but he doesn't hate learning. Like, if something catches his interest, he will learn it extremely quickly. He just doesn't like school. Does that make sense? Like, he doesn't want to sit in class and learn stuff. He wants to doing things.
He was bullied.
Yeah, like
That's how I was.
He's literally the epitome of the autistic kid who'll go and learn how to make a bomb online in 5 minutes, but does horribly in school. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of logic.
Yeah,
with him,
he's like a savant.
As he tries really hard, but we never really see him trying. There's one sort of flashback where he's doing crunches in his room or something.
You do see him try.
Stupid. But he absolutely refuses to learn the fundamentals.
There he has a ton of scrolls right there. That shows him freaking. Oh god, I'm gonna have an aneurysm.
He's not trying, guys. He just has like 20 scrolls going.
and I mean, like, even at the end of the series, when he has one arm, he's still studying his ass off to become Hokage. Like, he literally studies his ass off to become the Hokage because he needed to learn. Like, this guy.
Yeah, the Hokage isn't just being the strongest ninja in the village.
No, you have to pass like exams and stuff.
Yeah, like, it's arguably you're voted on as well, but it's the case of you're not just given it. It's not like a village. As far as I'm aware, it's not a village-wide vote either. I think it's
like by a committee, I think.
Yeah,
because you get the elders and stuff that picked out Tsunade.
Yeah, it's the elders and the shogunate of the land that they live in. Pick the village the kages of the different villages.
Yep.
Okay.
Of ninja powers, unless it's a physical activity involving repetition. I think he has a spectrum disorder of some kind. It's a core part of his character that he doesn't understand basic shit. But he wants to be Hokage, who is like the president of Ninja Town because he's the best fighter, so he does all the paperwork. Seems pretty stupid to me, but Naruto won't shut up about it. But he's also too lazy to figure out how to be a ninja. That's like me screaming that I want to become the greatest artist who ever lived, and when the teacher tells me...
All right, this is kind of insulting. We could stop right here. This is a really big waste of time.
Yeah.
I don't really care what the topic was, but if he's coming at it at this angle, this is not how you do it.
Like there's plenty of criticisms you can levy at Naruto.
Oh, absolutely.
And stuff that isn't just like minor nitpicks. No, there's tons of stuff you can complain about. But this guy's coming at everything that is well done in the series.
Yeah.
Like again, Naruto. It's not that Naruto didn't learn the basics. It's that he didn't care because he was in school, so he heard it once, he goes, I got it, and then just didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like, when Kakashi's drilling them on the basics, when he's trying to teach them how to control, he knows it, but he also misspeaks. He said he's like, hang on, I got this. He's like, it's like, I know this. Like, he knows it, he never thinks about it, so he doesn't care. Because as far as he's concerned, it doesn't really affect him.
There's plenty of stories with Naruto training. I remember quite a few, not early on. There was a few of those as well, but later on he's like learning how to do the crazy, he watches a cat, he gets that idea how to spin the ball properly.
The Rasengan,
Yeah, like all those stories. He trains like, it's whole episodes, he's just training. So it's like
here's the thing. Kishimoto loves drawing training or like doing training sequences. Like, he loves doing that, but he also knows how to, proper like timing on how to show things, like show time passing. So he'll like in the first episode, he doesn't show Naruto practicing with the scroll. He just shows him all beat up and exhausted, and Iruko goes, "Okay, so he's obviously been practicing something." Like, what has he been doing out here? Like, he doesn't. It's not like Naruto takes a scroll. The Hokage says, "Hey, Naruto took the scroll. Go find him." And then Iruka shows up, and Naruto's all tired within like the span of 5 minutes. In the show, yes. In the world of Naruto, no. It's been hours because no one knew where he went. The only one who knew where Naruto went was Iruka because he knew that Naruto would go out to this forest to try to practice things.
He always does. He always goes to the same spot to train when he's in the forest.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stuff you can criticize the series for, but this guy is like, he's trying to attack the best aspects of it, and it's just.
Well, even then.
And he's such a condescending prick about it, man.
Even then, I don't know if it's going to be a good or bad observation or statement of fact, because he's already muddying the waters with saying, "Oh, if I was this dumb, this wouldn't have happened." I was like, what fact are you addressing now that you've colored it this way?
One show I can directly say that a lot of his arguments fall on is Black
Clover.
Black Clover, because Black Clover is the worst like derivative shonen anime I've ever read or seen.
Okay, question: how far did you get into Black Clover?
Less than 10 episodes in because I couldn't stand Asta.
Okay, read the manga. The second, it starts off like a derivative, but the second arc where they go to the underwater temple is so freaking good. Like
the problem is when you have the main character whose his power is to beat everyone else in the universe because it's the negative of their powers. You have a starting problem.
All right.
Literally, Black Clover. Asta's power is negative magic, where everyone else in the universe is anti-magic, where everyone else in the universe is a wizard. So literally, he just punches through everything.
The thing about that,
if they didn't, here's the thing: if they didn't give him that, the anti-magic, and just had him just be brute force strength, that'd be funny, because that would actually work better. It's the fact that they gave him anti-magic powers.
The thing about that is Asta, like, he gets outclassed so hard so many times. There's even a part where he loses the use of his arms to a curse, which he can't really do anything much about curses unless he hits it with his sword. And they had to go through an entire arc where he can't move his arms.
Because again, it's the writer going, "Oh, I realize my mistake now, so now I have to write excuses as to why he can't use his abilities."
Anyway,
yeah, I just disagree. I think Black Clover.
Oh no, you're fine to disagree. It's just the thing is,
I
don't think you can't, unless you strip him of that power very quickly. You're gonna have to keep ramping up much faster than you would have.
Yeah.
Than at the start. Like, if you had just left him without powers and made his story having to, he could still become where he could still get where he wants to, just being brute force strength over everything. You could do that.
Yeah.
And that'd be the gag.
The best way I can recommend Black Clover is to read the manga. And like, I'll say this, I unironically like it more than My Hero Academia.
All right. Anyway, let's get to stream memes. This has been on the screen for a bit now. I don't know why this came about, but it's here. Hey, Sasuke, look at me. I turned myself into a pickle. I'm Pickle Maru. Okay.
I guess just the joke being that Orochimaru has like so many different bodies.
Yeah, it body hops.
Oh, here we go. This is interesting. You can't be punk and also be racist, sexist, homophobic, or transphobic. You have to be all of them together.
That was a meme going around on Twitter for a little bit today.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why, but it was.
Because it's in response to the "you can't be punk if you're sexist, racist, homophobic, or transphobic." And everyone's like, really? Nah.
I mean, that sounds like an establishment kind of thing there, bud.
Yeah. Considering punk is anti-establishment, it always has been.
Yep.
All right. Here is... Who does this remind me of? Is that a guy from Better Call Saul, or is that... I can't remember. Anyway. Wow, we got a lot of these weird things going on for memes. All right. Pain's plan to achieve world peace. Okay. Naruto's. I'll figure it out bottom text. Okay.
Oh, Pain's basically was, I'm just going to take over the world and force everyone into peace. Whereas Naruto's like, yeah, we're gonna have some problems, but we will work through them together. Like that's Naruto's plan. It's like,
Yeah,
yep, there's gonna be some crappy people.
We're gonna work together. We're gonna figure it out.
All right. Manga, fan animation, and then the anime. What is that?
Oh yeah, the anime fight for that is it looks terrible.
It looks terrible in still frames. That's the problem. That's the problem with that's. If you know how animation works, there's smear frames. Smear frames are to force so that way your eye sees transfer of motion between 2 points easier, especially in 2D. 3D has started using it a lot recently, like especially with like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs was one of the first like 3D series that like really used smear frames a lot. So it's like if you watch Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and you like pause it at certain points where the main character's like wiggling and wobbling through a scene, you'll see that he's stretched out and all wigged out. It's not just like two motions. You'll actually see like an in-between point where he's all stretched out and weird. And that's what that's what smear frames are. It's where it's to mix between two keyframes really and to help. And they're always going to look weird and off model. But that's the whole point, is because it's trying to fake motion. And so your eye just skips how it looks weird unless you just freeze at it.
But yeah, Smud, that Pain is one of the best villains in I'll say it, in shonen. It's one of my favorite. He's one of my all-time favorite villains, just because of like his he's a very philosophical villain, and like I definitely recommend looking into him. He is just so well written.
All right, well, that was a pretty bad video for argumentation. If you're gonna have a funny, crude story or whatever you're doing as a video for essay reasons or however you structure an argument, you can do it. There's ways to do it, but you don't just start making jokes. You don't call Naruto various, or the main character, various names. You don't poke fun at the phonetics of the name and all these other things that he was doing. You do not undermine the facts. You sort of put them as bare as they can be, and then you show where it doesn't make sense, or they contradict themselves, or they're retconned, or whatever the scenario is that you're trying to prove. And I don't care if he was talking about Naruto or any other show. I don't think this is a proper argument. People didn't care because obviously they watched it for 3 million views from 4 years ago. But this is sad. This is not.
Also, 4 years ago, it was like the height of Boruto hate as well. So that kind of bled over into Naruto. Because again, they front-loaded Boruto with 300 episodes of filler. So a lot of people were ticked off that it was 300 episodes of filler.
Yeah.
Because arguably because the manga started in the middle of Boruto's like ninja career, basically. Like it started with him.
The academy.
Yeah, and it skipped over all of like them learning the basics and whatnot, and like introducing these characters. It just went, all right. It went, all right. All your favorite characters had kids. Go, and it relied on you knowing Naruto. Whereas Boruto the anime had to backfill all that, so that way new people who had never watched Naruto could understand what was going on. So, well, the hate from Boruto bled over into. And also, the English dubbing of it didn't help either, where they just called him Bort for some bizarre reason.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, "What the hell are you doing?" And like, the dub voice acting is pretty good though. Like, Amanda Miller is really good as Boruto.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure they didn't do that after the backlash, because everyone's like, "This is stupid. Why are you shortening his name to Bort?" Because one, the mouth flaps are not going to match up with her saying Boruto just as a word. You're going to have Bort. And then just mouth flaps continue going over it. Like, why would you do that?
All right. Well, hopefully
it was.
Next time we'll have a more intellectually honest argument, or maybe a fun video to cover next week for Anime Day. This is kind of depressing because I like Anime Day. I like covering stuff I remember from 15 years ago or whatever. And this is not how I remember it.
Like,
it is good to go back and like re-examine this stuff. That's not a bad thing. It's just this guy was not doing it Like, this is how you do a review wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I know everyone's like, oh, you can't review things wrong. No, you can absolutely review things wrong. This is how you don't do it.
Look at every
because
game
it makes.
journalist.
Well, yeah, that's true too. But the only people this talks to is the people who already hate Naruto.
Like, legitimately, I've seen so many people on Twitter use this video as an argument because they think it's well thought out when it is absolutely not. And I always reply with that video, as I mentioned earlier, in defense of Talk No Jutsu, which is basically a direct rebuttal, kind of, sort of a rebuttal to this video.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully, guys, keep the sessions coming. We'll get a good one next time. Not sure what we're doing tomorrow, but it's always up to you guys, and keep the videos popping in the suggestions channel. I don't know if there's a specific anime stuff we should be covering. I know there's a bunch of stuff coming out, or has been coming out for the past few weeks. Was it the summer season is coming up in Japan? I don't.
It should be, yeah.
Yeah,
spring is just wrapping up. So
yeah, I've been watching a whole bunch, but nothing that's like super duper popular.
Yeah, really the only thing I've been watching is Digimon Ghost Game.
Nice.
It's the only thing that's caught my interest, and also I just like Digimon.
Yeah,
and
Digimon is like objectively better than Pokemon. Fight me.
Yes, but Pokemon was much more of a simple, and also Digimon has different stories with itself. But but like Ghost Story is actually interesting because it takes Digimon and then uses them as yokai and like demon and like ghost story, like a ghost story, like in Japan.
Yeah.
It uses them like as using them as a lot of the yokai and other demons that they were inspired from.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the fall season because we finally get the continuation of Bleach, and I am so freaking excited.
The final arc where it's just
Bleach. It's just a war, Smud. It's so like Smud. If you haven't read Bleach or if you've ever finished Bleach, read the manga. It's so good, dude.
The only thing I hope is that the final arc, like the anime, helps
develop the way they beat Yuha Bakumor.
Well, yes, and helps clear up some of the things because it just kind of went and it's done.
Yeah,
because Shonen.
Well, they had Shonen Jump.
I saw a few frames. I saw a few stories. Really creative ideas, and then like halfway over was it 6 years or 7 years? I don't know how long it was. It just went nowhere, and you're just like, okay, this is.
Well, the thing is, it's kind of the way how Taikubo writes, where he'll go, I want to draw this very specific scene. How do I get to this very specific scene? And then he writes a story around getting to that very specific scene. Yeah. That's how he writes. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
And then it ended, and you're like, what?
Yeah, just abrupt ending.
Because Shonen Jump went, okay, you need to stop.
Yeah,
and what's funny, what's hilarious is, then they came back to him and said, no, wait, come back. We want you to do more. And now he's doing...
Burn the Witch.
Which is a spin-off of Bleach, just in the West.
Yeah,
same universe. It's just the Western. It's just basically England's version of the Soul of Shinigami and the Soul Society. Yeah, which is funny because before they even showed that at the very end of the one-off manga, he went, huh? So the witches are Soul Reapers and the dragons are Hollows, and then they saw that went, I got it right because Taikubo is so. He's very easy to see what he's writing because he has the very specific things he likes to write. So that's not a bad thing. It's just hilarious. Like, I called that before I finished reading it.
I absolutely love his art style. The way he draws characters is just, they look so good.
Yeah, and when it's so funny. Like, yes, he writes in a very back-ass-words way where he tries to get to an endpoint that not even just an endpoint, scene in his head that he wants to draw to. But then he still has well-written characters. Like
Aizen.
Yeah, Aizen is a really damn good villain. Good lord.
Yeah, he's one of my all-time favorites. Aizen's so good.
All right. Well, thank you for staying with us all this time, and we will talk to you